Madam Chair, I move that Senate Bill 5884 be reported out of committee with a due pass recommendation.
It has been moved and seconded that that Senate Bill 5884 be reported out of committee with a due pass recommendation. Are there amendments?
Madam Chair, there are 3 amendments, beginning with an amendment from Representative Dye.
Representative Dye, to move your amendment.
Thank you, Chair Dolio. I move the amendment. Do I need to say the numbers? Just a moment.
I can.
I can say it. It's H3288.1.
H3288.1 has been moved and seconded. Discussion. Representative Dye.
Thank you, Chair Dolio. This amendment is to correct a flaw in the bill, and it's to help that that the court should not be able to order restitution unless there's a person that can be identified, and they can show where they have suffered injury. Thanks.
Representative Rammel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Recommending a no on this amendment. One of the challenges with some of the environmental damages that we're talking about is that the victims are numerous but dispersed downstream, distant in time and geography, and oftentimes difficult to identify. They may not even realize that they've been victimized by these crimes. So recommending a no.
Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of adopting 32881.1 signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The amendment does not carry. Representative Sandlin, to move your amendment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move Amendment Hatfield 176.
It has been moved and seconded. Hatfield 177. Discussion. Representative Sandlin.
Thank you, Chair Dolio. Amendment 176 provides that a restitution order must be based on the existence of a causal relationship between the crime charged and proven and harm to natural resources or the environment.
Representative, pardon me? Okay. Can you moved 176. Okay, so let's go ahead. So Representative Canoff, responding to the moved and seconded Hatfield 176.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And whereas we see that 176 has some complicated conversations on the restitution to be based on the existence of a causal relationship between the crime, I would ask that we do not move this resolution, and that I would be happy to collaborate with the good representative and speak a little bit more about the legal work that he's looking for to accomplish here. So I would ask for a no vote.
Okay, seeing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Nay. This amendment does not carry. Representative Sandlin, to move Hatfield 177.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Hatfield 177.
Hatfield 177 has been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Representative Sandlin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. 177 provides that an order of restitution for a felony or misdemeanor conviction under the specified environmental statutes must be consistent with RCW 9.94A.753, number 3, which in turn provides, among other things, that restitution ordered by a court pursuant to a criminal conviction must be based on easily ascertainable damages for injury to or loss of property, and that the amount of restitution may not exceed double the amount of the offender's gain or the victim's loss from the commission of the crime. I move the amendment.
Representative Lukanoff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Whereas we see this is a conversation that needs to be furthered, putting barriers around the restoration, the funding returned needs further discussion. I'd be happy to work with my colleague and exploring other opportunities around this. So I'd ask for a no vote.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? No. No. Okay. Okay, the amendment does not carry. Vice Chair Mena.
There were no amendments adopted, so I think we are on final passage.
Okay. Is there discussion? We didn't talk about that. on the
Underlying bill.
on the underlying bill. Well, I'll just say that this bill covers opens up restitution for environmental crimes, something that for some reason is not on our books and not in our statutes. I think the senator described it well with the boat on fire cost of business. That's not okay. That we need more legal tools to make sure that a boat that is on fire and just decides that that's part of their cost of doing business has some ramifications, because it does impact both other businesses as well as potentially fish and other organisms in the water. So I think this is a really good law and a really good bill, and hopefully will become a law, because we need some additional tools to make sure that environmental crimes are dealt with in this state. Representative Dye.
Thank you, Chair Dolio. This bill, as you can see by the amendments that we put forward, shows the complications that an environment committee is ill-prepared to deal with issues on criminal law. And personally, I believe that this bill should have been referred to a different committee that has expertise in criminal law.
Representative Barno.
Thank you, Madam Chair. When I read this bill, I thought I was in Civil Rights and Judiciary, where I also serve. That was my first kind of review of the bill. My second was, I am surprised in a bill that orders restitution that there's absolutely no causation. I Control F'd the bill a couple of times just to make sure I wasn't missing something. You need to have causation in this. So you've got civil law, which has special damages, which are easily ascertained. You've got general damages, which is a lot of like pain and suffering things. In the criminal world, you have restitution, which you have to find causation. And then you have administrative law, which you have a bunch of other types of remedies. And this bill, and I'm not saying the underlying law per se with environmental crimes is bad, because that's not necessarily what we're looking at. We're looking at setting up a brand new system for restitution that is neither in civil, criminal, or administrative law and doesn't require any causation. Let me give a quick example. So say you have the state of Washington, for instance, emitting carbon or some sort of pollutant as they move to a decarbonized world. And somebody says, I developed asthma because the state of Washington emitted a pollutant. Under this, say you go through the process and they say, yeah, the state of Washington is, and you shouldn't be. Under this law, you don't have to prove that it was the cause, or really even a cause, because there's no causation in this to prove the restitution, whether it's special damages or general damages, or restitution, which is neither special or general, it's punitive. And there's no limit on this punitive damage. So how do you calculate the punitive damages if there's no definition of restitution in this bill, because it doesn't reference the criminal statute? Again, I think that there are a lot of open-ended questions in this, and while there may be, from the good sponsor, Senator Trudeau, there may be a burning boat, but we should prove who set it on fire before we provide restitution. And we should define what those damages truly are in this bill, because I don't say this lightly. This creates a whole system that doesn't reference any other area of law in civil, criminal, or administrative law for how you prove those damages. There should be some causation. In administrative law, you don't even have to always prove it's the cause. You can prove that it is a cause, and then there's mitigating factors on what those damages would be. So again, I'm not, indicting the environmental crimes, that's really not before us. What I'm talking about merely is this establishment of a brand new restitution system that, quite honestly, is so broad that I think it's going to create a lot of litigation for lawyers, which concerns me, and I'm a lawyer. So for that reason, I am urging a no vote. I think that there needs to be work on this to really rein it in and find some side rails and maybe some references to existing law to make this more applicable. So again, for that, I'm a no vote.
Representative Mena.
Thank you, Chair Dolio. I'm urging a yes vote on this bill. I think it is an incredibly measured approach, and as described by the prime sponsor, does not order restitution, but rather allows a judge to allow for restitution, to have that consideration. I think this is really important. I think, we see a lot of different ways to regulate project proponents and folks who are operating facilities or other such things in our communities. It's very rare that something would exceed a penalty and end up in the courts for an environmental crime. Typically, these cases are very egregious, and I think to have the ability to seek restitution in a community that has suffered a big harm, whether to its water quality or to salmon or to our air pollution or to the things that we care deeply about and affect our health and communities, is a really significant step forward toward environmental justice, and I'm urging all of us to take a yes vote.
Representative Gaynor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I'm urging a no vote. I'm not an attorney, I'm not a legal scholar, but I certainly have observed that there have been, we do have things on the books already to deal with specific issues of environmental crimes or things that are harmful to the environment, and many people have been held accountable. This bill, though, as was mentioned, is, in my opinion, much too broad. It opens up far more than what we have, and I believe that what we have on the books right now has been working. I don't really believe that there's a need for this, and as I said, the fact that it isn't very specific about the actual impact, it does leave the door wide open for decisions that may have far-reaching consequences that I believe will be those unintended consequences. I think it's a noble effort by the sponsor to try and address perceived problem, but I believe that right now we really are very conscious of environmental harm and damages, and we do deal accordingly with those who are the offenders. So I would urge a no on this bill.
Representative Sandlin.
Thank you, Chair Dolio. I also am urging a no vote on this, but I do appreciate the good member's invitation to work on this bill and look forward to attempting to work this out and clean this up. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Sandlin. Representative Dewar?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I think for me, I understood the intent of the amendments, but they were all choices between an identifiable victim or a loss of property or the natural environment instead of all of them. And so each of the amendments, I felt, narrowed the bill. And that's why I hope that we continue to work on it, but I will be a yes vote today.
Okay, seeing no further vote, staff will call the roll. No further discussion.
Dolio.
Aye.
Representative Dolio votes aye. Mena.
Mena votes aye.
Representative Mena votes aye. Dye.
Aye. No, do not pass.
Representative Dye votes nay. Do not pass. Ibarra.
Ibarra votes nay. Do not pass.
Representative Ibarra votes nay. Do not pass. Abarno.
Nay, do not pass.
Representative Abarno votes nay. Do not pass. Barnard.
Nay, do not pass.
Representative Barnard votes nay. Do not pass. Berry. Representative Berry votes aye. Dewar.
Dewar votes aye.
Representative Dewar votes aye. Fye.
I votes aye.
Representative Fye votes aye. Gaynor.
Nay, do not pass.
Representative Gaynor votes nay. Do not pass. Lekanoff. Representative Lekanoff votes aye. Rammel.
Rammel, aye.
Representative Rammel votes aye. Sandlin.
Nay, do not pass.
Representative Sandlin votes nay. Do not pass. Slatter. Representative Slatter votes aye. Street. Representative Street votes aye.
Does anyone wish to change their vote? Seeing none, staff will announce the vote.
Madam Chair, there are 9 ayes, 6 nay, 0 excused.
By your vote, Senate Bill 5884 is reported out of committee with a due pass recommendation.